All right, you guys, let's go ahead and check out this 2020 Nissan Titan Pro-4X. Now, if you don't know about this 2020 version of the Nissan Titan, it has basically been completely redesigned. Now, in terms of engines, you actually have less choices. So you no longer have the diesel, the Cummins diesel as an option. You only have this V8 all throughout the normal Titan and the Titan XD lineup. This is the only engine option, and we'll talk about that once we go under the hood. Now, the Pro-4X is the most off-road capable stock Titan that you can get. So obviously we're going to go in full detail around this truck, and since I just had the Silverado Trail Boss like a week before this, I'll have a good basis of comparison. Now let's go ahead and talk about that Trail Boss, because that was a really impressive truck, as you guys saw in the video. That truck actually has more ground clearance than this. It's gonna have about 10.6 inches. This has about 9.9 inches of ground clearance, but you are going to have a shorter wheelbase on this truck. This is about 137 inch wheelbase, and I believe the Trail Boss is somewhere around the high 140 inch wheelbase. So you do have a better breakover angle on this, and because you have that shorter wheelbase, it is going to sort of offset the inch of less ground clearance that you have in this truck. So they're kind of trading punches back and forth. But either way, this is going to be the more expensive truck than that Trail Boss. This is $60,000 as tested. This is fully optioned out, but the starting MSRP for a Titan Pro-4X is around $49,000, which is only a couple $1,000s more than that Trail Boss, and you are going to get better shocks because this does have the Bilstein dampers on here. So let's go ahead and talk about this color. This is Baja Storm. This is an awesome color. It is really military-esque, kind of reminds me of that same color that you get on the Tundra. They had a color like this for a limited time on, like, you know, the TRD Pros and things like that. It's just a really nice looking color, and if you get really close to it, you can see it has a little bit of metallic flake going on, but paired with these black accents, it does make this truck look very tough, and I quite like this color scheme a lot. Now let's go ahead and move to the front, because here are where you're going to see the first of those changes that Nissan made to this new Titan. Now let's go ahead and look at these lights. So these headlights are going to be completely different. I love these headlights compared to the previous year models. I think it looks a lot better, more cohesive of a design on this truck, and it looks incredible. The LED daytime running lights look great. Perfectly accentuates the front end of this truck, and then you have full LED lights on here aside from your blinkers, but the LED lights are very bright at night, LED fog lights, and it does make this truck look a lot more expensive and a lot more high-end whenever you're driving it around at night. Now, as you come to the front grille of the truck, there are a few changes. Now, obviously, you have a different overall grille right here. Your Nissan badge is now going to have this orange look to it in the middle, and I quite like that. I look forward to Nissan doing more of that in the future. And then you are going to have Titan imprinted on here. If you guys can't see it now, here's a B-roll clip for you. But it is very light in the grille, and it looks awesome whenever you are able to see it. As you go down, it's going to say Pro-4X right there. You have these orange tow hooks here, and then most importantly, you're going to have all metal right here. So this is full steel, which means if you are driving through brush or driving through anywhere that could potentially mess up a plastic bumper, you do not have to worry about that in this truck. And the cool part, is that the skid plates are going to fold up into the fender, which is really nice because you get a little bit of fender protection as well as getting protection underneath. It's going to say Pro-4X underneath there, and then you have one more skid plate underneath protecting all of your transmission and everything like that. But it's a really, really cool thing for sure. Now, as we move around to these wheels are pretty okay looking. I mean, they're basically the same wheels you get on something like a Frontier. I would have liked to see a better or different wheel design, in my personal opinion. And then we get to the tires. So the tires are decent. They're not what I would call off-roading tires. They're barely off-road capable from the looks of it. We'll see a little bit later when we do take it off-roading, but they're general grabber tires, and you know, they ride comfortably, but in terms of off-roading, they could definitely have a little bit more depth to that tread for sure. Now behind here, I'll get you guys a B-roll clip, but here are those Bilstein dampers, and you can see them here in the front, and you can also see them here in the back. This is also going to have the PRO-4X branded mud flaps as an option. You have this Titan branded side step right here, which is cool because this as well is also going to be full metal, so you guys can hear that. So very high quality, very heavy duty. Now moving to the side profile, this thing does look pretty good. It looks awesome. I love the PRO-4X decal. I think I've always liked that on the Nissan trucks. Makes it feel very like desert runner-y. And then as you move to the rear quarter panel, pretty good looking truck. Now I really like what they did to the back. It reminds me a lot of the Ford Raptor. The LED lights that are new on here look awesome at night. I really like the look of those lights, and once again makes the truck look very nice. A little bit more expensive than it previously did, and then during the day it still has a really cool look to it. Now one other thing is, if you guys can see this here, this is a side step, and basically get your foot, you're gonna push that out. There you go. Very sturdy step. So I'll talk about that more once we get into the bed. And then to put it back up, you just push right back up like that. You're going to have this blacked out Titan badge located here. You guys can see this entire back end of the truck has this almost mask in the middle. Looks very awesome. You even have the Titan symbol sort of etched in there, which is really cool. That goes around that blacked out Nissan symbol with the orange lettering in the middle. PRO-4X off to the right. And then on top of the tailgate, you are going to have Titan branded up here as well. Very impressive truck for sure. I'm really digging what Nissan did to this Titan. But let's go ahead and fire up that V8 and hear how this thing sounds. All right, guys, so here's your key for the Nissan Titan. So basically the same key Nissan's had since like 2005, 6, 7. It's gonna have your remote start up here, your lock, your unlock, your panic, Nissan symbol, and on the back you have a little tab to pull out a physical key, but Nissan also gives you a physical key to get into the door here, so I can just stick it into there, or you also have buttons here that I can use to lock and unlock the truck. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and check out the inside of this Nissan Titan PRO-4X. Now, this is very much improved from the earlier models of this generation. I think Nissan did an absolutely incredible job, and you guys can see this interior looks so much better. Now, coming over here to the door, you're gonna have a decent use of materials. It is hard touch up here, but as soon as you go down, you have very soft touch there. You're gonna have soft touch right here, which looks very good. Orange stitching to match that lava orange on the exterior. Chrome or plastic chrome door handle right here. You're gonna have 2 memory seat settings located right there. Then as you come down, you have your window controls. You're gonna have your door locks, mirror controls here. Now coming down, you do have a Fender sound system here. I do apologize about this because we did just get done filming the driving portion of this video. And then you're gonna have a little bit of extra storage space located here, as well as 2 bottle areas there. Now, as you come here, you have a Titan branded floor mat. You guys can see that there. Your pedals there. Right over here, you have buttons like your hill descent, your rear locker. You're gonna have your light adjustment, so I can actually move this up and down. And what that's gonna do is adjust how high and how low my headlights shine on a normal basis. So if you are towing, you can adjust your lights. That way, if the front of your truck is aiming a little bit more up because of the weight on the back, you can lower your headlights, which is pretty cool. Cargo lamp right here. You're gonna have your AC 120 volt that you can turn on in the back and in the rear right there. Moving up, you have your interior illumination, trip monitor reset, all of your lighting controls, push that for your fog lights. Automatic steering wheel controls located here. And then as you come to the seats, you have your seating controls here. The leather is very thick, really nice quality leather, orange stitching there. You're going to have some pretty nice leather here, perforations on these two areas. Then as you move up, you're gonna have more perforations, PRO-4X right there, and then obviously more stitching just adorning the entire seat. Now coming to the steering wheel, you've got pretty good use of materials here. I love this orange Nissan badging. I just love how it's everywhere. I really like that Nissan did that. More orange stitching located right here. And then let's go ahead and hop in and we'll check out the rest of the truck. All right, so shutting the door on the Titan. Nice solid shut. Once again, here's a wider look at the interior for you guys. Love this interior, and to start it is very simple. It's obviously push start, so all you have to do is put your foot onto the brake and you're going to hit that button there to start. And that's all there is to it, guys. Now continuing on this steering wheel, so over here to the right you have all of your cruise control settings. You do have adaptive cruise on here, and then over to the left, media commands, and I can use this to scroll through the screen in the middle. Right over here you do have your shifter, reverse, backup camera is going to come up. You do have a 360-degree camera, but you guys can see all the stitched images right there, so it does look a little tacky in that regard. And then this camera is very, very low res, and I think manufacturers really understate how helpful a high resolution camera is. It's already tough enough for people trusting a camera, so having one that's not high definition makes that transition not any easier. So I think high def cameras should be a necessity if you're going to put a backup camera, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, interestingly enough, when you put it into drive, which we are in right now, you guys can see here it gets in the way of a few of these buttons here. I mean, it's no big deal to reach around. It's really just an observation though. Tow mode, and then you can manually shift using these buttons here. Over to the left you have your wipers, automatic wipers, and then your blinkers right there, of course. Now coming to the gauges, you have more of that lava orange there. You can see this little Titan symbol just barely etched over there, which is just a nice little detail. And yeah, it's a good looking gauge cluster. I love when it starts up in a darker setting because the needles do light up white, and the entire gauge cluster is very crisp, easy to read. Love it. So using those controls over to the left side of the steering wheel, I can scroll left and right. And that's pretty much it. When you get to, let's see here, this area, at that point you can use this to go up and down through those screens. When you're not on this screen, this is going to be your previous and next for like radio stations, media, or anything like that. Only when you're on this screen does it actually act as a up and down. So pretty much it for that screen. Very easy to use and not a lot of complicated things going on. You have your Fender speaker here, so this does have a Fender sound system, and this thing sounds really good. This is a great Fender audio system. I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Now you do have a grab handle here, which is nice. This is all soft touch with orange stitching there. I think this is where you should have a head-up display. Obviously you don't have it here. I'm guessing you have it on like the Platinum Reserve. If the answer to that is yes, I will put that down here, but that's just what I'm guessing right now. Now as you come down, more of that orange stitching is going to go all the way across the dash. You're going to have another speaker there, another tweeter, and then another speaker way over there, if you guys can see that. And then you have this updated screen, and I have to tell you guys, Nissan did a great job on just the overall resolution of the screen. It's very high res, looks incredible, which is once again frustrating that the camera isn't high res because the screen in general is really beautiful to look at. Now you've got your standard Nissan look here, and then you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which you can activate, and everything works really well, and you can listen to your favorite music on that awesome Fender audio sound system. And I can hit this to like adjust the lighting between night and day, or you can throw it on automatic. Physical buttons there, dual zone climate control, fan speed. As you come down, you have traction control, parking sensors, hazards. You're going to have your Nissan safety systems located here. You can turn those on and off. Heated steering wheel. Over here you do have a 12 volt. Obviously we saw these start stop buttons, how you put it into 4 high, and then you have to throw it into neutral, push, and then turn to put it into 4 low. Now as we come down, you're going to have your trailer brake located right here. Full focus there. And then of course you have all of your adjustments that you can move through right there. Over here you have a USB-C and a USB, so if you want to fast charge your iPhone or Android, you can use that USB-C, and then this is going to be for like your Apple CarPlay, things like that. Heated seats, cooled seats, very old school knob. This has been in tons of old Nissans, old Infinitis, so I would like to see them update this, but that's not a huge deal. A little bit of storage space here. Now this entire area you can adjust, so this is where I would put my phone, which I have back here. Just slide it in just like that, and it slides in very nicely. It's not hard plastic, it's kind of soft, so it's not going to scratch your phone or anything like that, and you can basically put it anywhere that you'd like. Now this whole thing does come out, as you guys can see there, face mask because you know, COVID. And then you have a cup holders here which you can also pull out, remove, and at that point you just have a ton of usable storage right here. Now as we come back, you have a massive armrest. It is gigantic. I can fit like 4 of my arms on here. It is huge. Typical trucks lift this up, and then you have storage space, removable. And then obviously it's very deep inside of there. You also have areas here if you need to put pins or anything, if you need to write documents or do anything while you're working. Lockable glove box here. You got this interesting, like, I wouldn't say it's carbon weave, but you guys can see that right there. But it looks nice nonetheless. As you come up, you are going to have your, your home link here, auto dimming mirror. You don't have a compass in there or anything. And then as you come up here, you have a sunglass holder, lights, which are LED, very, very bright. Rear window. If my arm wasn't in the way, there we go. There's that. Sunscreen shade for your giant pano roof, and here's a B-roll clip of this thing because it is gigantic. It is huge and it lets in so much light. So if you live in an area like California, for example, it is awesome to open that thing, let in some nice awesome air. And even if you live somewhere it's a little bit colder and you like looking at the snow, it's just a good way to do it. Now another vanity mirror here with a light. It does feel a little flimsy though. And that's pretty much going to be it for the front of the Titan. Let's go ahead and check out that back seat. All right, guys, so going to the back of the Nissan Titan Pro-4X. Now, being a truck, the seats do lift up, so I can lift this seat up, I can lift this seat up. But even cooler is you do have an area here, so I can lift this up, pull it out, and at that point, I have a completely flat loading floor that I can put things back here. And now if you see these on top, these are actually going to be locks. So this is lockable storage because if I fold this back up, same thing with this, and then lift both of these up, you are going to have storage pockets located underneath here. You have 4 pretty decent sized cubbies here, and then once again I can pull that down, lock it in place, and then still utilize these as a imitation flat loading floor. But even with these up, you still have a lot of area right here, and then obviously with the seats up you can just fit very large items back here. Now to fold the seat down, you pull this little tab, it'll fold down like that. Same thing over here, and even the back seats will fold forward. Not really sure why you'd want to do that. If you need to get better access to the anchors back here for like a car seat, that's just an easier way to do it. But let's go ahead and hop in. So once we are in the truck, I've got a little bit less headroom than I thought actually. So I'm 6 feet tall. This is where my seating position was set. I've got about 3.5, 4 inches of knee room, which is pretty good. My feet can slide underneath easily because the seats sit up pretty high. My hair is scraping just a bit, but I also have big hair on top of being 6 feet tall. So if you are, I'd say 6'2", 6'3", your head will probably be scraping, which is something I've actually never experienced in a truck. So this is kind of a low roof. Other than something like a Tacoma, I didn't expect a full size to be this low in terms of the roof. But other than that, you have 4 pockets here. So I have a pocket here that I have this little cleaner in. I've got a pocket over here. I've got my Bible in there. I've got 2 pockets up there, 2 cup holders back here, or you can use those for the front passengers. 2 vents. You are going to have a 120 volt house plug, 2 USBs, heated seats for both outboard passengers, and then folding this middle armrest down, you're going to have 2 cup holders very deep in here, and you have little areas off to the side that you can kind of rest your arms on, but they're so narrow that you couldn't comfortably keep your arm on there for a while. Now, last thing to talk about is shutting the door. Solid door shut. You have hard materials up top, soft there, and then the rest of the door is pretty much all hard touch. And then you have a great view because of that gigantic panoramic roof. So it's pretty much a good place to be. Aside from having a little bit less headroom than I thought, it's a very practical storage space. So let's go ahead and check out the rest of the truck. All right, you guys, so hopping into the bed of the Nissan Titan Pro-4X. Now, once again, using the step, putting it down, this can take basically all of my weight. So that's nice. This is a super heavy duty piece right here. Now, obviously I can just use this, hop into the back like this. There's obviously multiple ways you can get in. You can put down the tailgate if you want to do it this way. But either way, coming right back here to the tailgate, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you have 4 areas here that you can like put drinks on or anything like that. So it is nice that those are put into there. Now, once you come back, this does have the optional railing system, which is going to be here in the ground. It's going to be over here off to the side. And these pieces right here, that's like pure aluminum, all 4 of them. They're super heavy duty pieces. So you know they're gonna hold up in rain, any kinds of weather, snow. They should be pretty durable. And this one does have the optional bed liner back here as well. Now you do have full LED lights back here in the bed, and they're extremely bright. So you can see basically anything that you have back there at night. And that is also a really good feature. But that's pretty much gonna sum up the bed. Here are the specifications on the bed if you guys want to see that. Then of course you have your tie down points in the back as well as your window there that you can pass longer items through if you needed to do that for any reason. But let's go ahead and close this up and see what's under the hood. All right, so coming under the hood of the Nissan Titan Pro-4X. So for 2020, you only have the V8 option. You no longer have the Cummins diesel as an option. So throughout the entire Titan lineup, this is your only engine. It's a 5.6 liter V8, naturally aspirated. You're gonna make 400 horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque. Now that 400 horsepower is only on premium fuel. So if you don't use premium fuel, you do get a lower output, only by about 10 horsepower. Now this is hooked up to a 9-speed automatic, and as you guys will see in the drive, it's a very, very good unit. Very impressive what Nissan did there. And you are going to have a pretty decent sized fuel tank. So this is about a 26 gallon fuel tank. Now compared to the Trail Boss I just had, that was about 24 gallons. That was a 6.2 liter V8, making about 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. So being a 5.6, this isn't too far behind that engine. And because you have 2 extra gallons in the tank, you actually get a little bit more range on a full tank. So this will get about 21 miles per gallon on the highway, about 15 in the city, which are pretty decent numbers. I think I've personally been averaging around 14, which is, you know, all right for a truck. It's about to be expected. But either way, let's go ahead and get this on and off the road and see how this Titan does.
Oof.
Okay everyone, so a little bit of bad news in terms of the drive on the Titan. So all my footage downloaded to my computer ended up being corrupted for some reason. And I had deleted it because I assumed it was already on my laptop. So that falls on me and I do apologize. So I will have to verbally right now tell you guys how the Titan drove. So the Titan drove really well. The steering was great on that truck. It was very tight, which is good and bad. It's great because when you're on the highway, the truck was rock solid, stable. Better than I think than any other truck that I've driven. And the negative is going to be that when you're maneuvering through town, through parking lots, it's very, very heavy. So you actually get physically fatigued driving that car a lot around town. And then whenever we did take it off-roading, it's hard too because the steering is so tight. Maneuvering it through an off-road trail is very tough. So I do wish it was a little bit lighter. And then the other negative part was the ground clearance. Now, this did have the side rails on it, which decrease your ground clearance even more, also drastically decreases your breakover angle, and because of that we broke the side steps, or I broke the side steps, and a big chunk of it came off, therefore leaving the truck damaged. And yeah, it just wasn't a good situation. But either way, Nissan thankfully did forgive me for the situation, and you know, I will still be able to review Nissan vehicles for you guys. But I am glad it did happen to show Nissan that I think that truck from the factory does need another inch lift to keep up with something like the Trail Boss, the Rebel, who can still go up to like that high 10-inch ground clearance. And then once you put the side steps on there, it really is hard to justify it as an off-road vehicle because there's not many places you can take it where those side steps aren't going to scrape. But other than that, the truck drove great. It sounds absolutely amazing when you're full throttle on it, and just all of the placement of everything is really nice. I like the truck a lot, but pretty much in terms of driving impressions, that's going to wrap it up. And I think the last thing I want to say is going to be that when I was off-road, the rebound on the dampers did feel a little rough. So when you hit a big bump, it'll boom, bounce back. But I'm sure if you were to air down a little bit, it may lessen that just a bit. Well, everyone, is going to wrap up my review for the Nissan Titan Pro-4X. I think it's a good truck. I think it is very much improved over the first year models of this generation. However, I do think the Pro-4X needs a few things done. I think those dampers need to be retuned. I think it needs an inch lift on top of the stock setup. And if you are going to use these rails, you don't have a lot of clearance here. I mean, this is how much space I have from the rail, but on top of that, you still got to remember there's an area here that's even lower. That's about an inch right there. And so because it's truly down here, it really lessens your ground clearance. It really does lessen your breakover angle. And if you're going to take this any sort of decent off-roading, you need something that has a lot more clearance, a lot better of a breakover angle. But overall, I think the truck looks great, the tech is great. But let me know what you guys think. Comment below, like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Y'all take care. Bye.